From Lagos, we now go to Katsina State for the Nigerian Army Medal Parade and launch of the Compendium of Army Transformation. Stay with us.
Commanding Nigerian Army divisions here present, Air Officers Commanding Special Operations and Training Command, Corps Commanders here present, Commanders of various operations, Commanders of various Army formations here present, Directors from Defense and Services Headquarters, Commandants of Nigerian Army Schools, Senior Military Officers both serving and retired, our Royal Father, Sarkin Yamman Katsina, Hakimin Foskari, Engineer Aminu Tukur Usman Saidu, gallant soldiers of the Nigerian Army, gentlemen of the press, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, I warmly welcome you to Special Army Super Camp 4, Faskari, Katsina State, on the occasion of the grand finale of the Nigerian Army Day celebration, today, the 11th of July, 2020. I am Major I.O. Iweha, and with me is Major DJ Danjuma of the Directorate of Army Public Relations. Together, we shall be taking you through the series of events that have been lined up here this morning. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian Army Day celebration, as you are aware, is a significant event in the Nigerian Army history, which climaxes on the 6th of July every year with a grand finale. This year's Nigerian Army Day celebration is deliberately arranged to include Nigerian Army Honors and Awards ceremony, as well as the unveiling and presentation of the Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015 to 2020. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian Army over the past 1 year has consolidated on the gains of the next level agenda of Mr. President by defending, protecting, and strengthening democratic institutions and enhancing security of Nigeria. Many activities have been conducted during this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration 2020. On the 1st of July, the Chief of Army Staff held his press briefing, while on the 3rd of July 2020, there was simultaneous unprecedented commissioning of various projects across all Nigerian Army formations and units. Similarly, on the 4th and 5th of July, there was elaborate distribution of palliatives in selected communities across the country to cushion the effects of the economic hardship caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, on the 6th of July 2020, the Chief of Army Staff flagged off Exercise Sahel Sanity and commissioned 10 Nigerian Army locally manufactured, mines-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles which are adjacent the parade ground, and inducted them into operations. On the same day, the Chief of Army Staff had a media engagement with selected editors. Today, we are climaxing the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2020 with the Nigerian Army Honors and Awards ceremony, as well as the unveiling and presentation of the Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015 to 2020. These historic and legendary achievements of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai, are chronicled in this compendium. At this juncture, without much waste of time, I have the honor to invite the Chairman, Central Organizing Committee, Nigerian Army Day Celebration NATCEL 2020, and General Officer Commanding 3 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Eni Angbazo, to please deliver the welcome address. The chairman, sir.
The special guest of honor and Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salih Magashi, retired, Commander of the Order of Niger, Commander of the Federal Republic, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olanishakin, ably represented by Air Vice Marshal C.I. Ogunwen, our amiable Chief Host and Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, Nigerian Army Medal, Order of Merit, Military Merit Brazil, General Service Star amongst numerous honors and awards, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Abbas, ably represented by Rear Admiral Titi Dakwat, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, ably represented by Air Vice Marshal I.O. Amao, the Chief of Policy and Plans Army, Lieutenant General L.O. Adeosun, Principal Staff Officers from the Army and Services Headquarters, Corps Commanders here present, General Officers Commanding Nigerian Army Divisions here present, Air Officers Commanding Special Operation and Training Command, Commanders of various operations, Commanders of various Army formations here present, Directors from Defense and Services Headquarters here present, Commandants of Nigerian Army Schools, Senior military officers both serving and retired, our Royal Father, Sir Kenyam Katsina and Hakimin Faskari, Engineer Amilu Tukur Usman Saidu, gallant soldiers of the Nigerian Army, gentlemen of the press, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and responsibility to welcome our esteemed special guest of honor, Major General Bashir Salih Magashi, retired, the Honorable Minister of Defense, and other distinguished special guests, officers and soldiers, on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, to this unique and special occasion. The two events that will soon commence are part of the series of activities lined up to mark the celebration of the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2020 in commemoration of the 157th anniversary of the establishment of the Nigerian Army. Special guest of honor, sir, for the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2020, the Chief of Army Staff approved the theme of this year's celebration as, I quote, Nigeria's territorial defense and sovereignty, imperatives for Nigerian Army's sustained training and operations, unquote. And he directed that it be uniquely organized this time round in the form of a real-time field training exercise. This is in part in compliance to the presidential directive of putting to an end and ridding all parts of Nigeria of the menace of banditry, insurgency, and all sundry criminal activities in conjunction with other security agencies. The field training exercise, codenamed Exercise Sahel Sanity, as you are informed, was flagged off on the 6th of July 2020. Special guest of honor, sir, for your kind information, a rundown of activities carried out during the Nigerian Army Day Celebration Week included the Chief of Army Staff's press briefing, the commissioning of 66 quick impact civil military cooperation projects in various locations across the country, the distribution of palliatives to the needy in selected communities nationwide, the commissioning of the Conqueror mine-resistant anti-ambush protected vehicle, the airing of the Nigerian Army documentary on training and operations, and the airing of Operation Last Dance, a Nigerian Army-sponsored film. It might interest you to note, sir, that the Conqueror MRAP was commissioned just a few days ago, and it was built in the theater. These vehicles drove themselves down from Maiduguri, and as we speak now, all of them have been employed for the exercise Sahel Sanity. Today, sir, the Nigerian Army is honored to have your presence as a special guest of honor in the next events, starting with the Chief of Army Staff's honor and award ceremony. This event provides the Nigerian Army with yet another opportunity to celebrate and honor deserving personnel in recognition of their selfless and exceptional contributions to the successes recorded by the Nigerian Army in the last 12 months. Following the award ceremony, we are also honored to have you unveil and launch the book titled, I quote, Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai Years 2015 to 2020, unquote, which highlights some of the modest achievements recorded by the Nigerian Army in the last 5 years under the able and visionary leadership of our amiable Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai. Special guest of honor, sir, our distinguished invited guests, officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, and other sister services present, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to once again, on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, welcome you most sincerely to Special Army Super Camp 4, Faskari. Kindly enjoy the event as it unfolds. Thank you, sir, for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we please appreciate him with another round of applause? May I, at this juncture, most respectfully request the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, to please deliver his address. The Chief of Army Staff, sir.
Our special guest of honor, General Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Sali Magashi, retired CFR, the Chief of Defense Staff, here ably represented by FVM CI Ogomwen, the Chief of Naval Staff, represented by Riyad Mineral Dakwat, the Chief of Air Staff represented by Air Vice Marshal Amao, the Chief of Police and Plans, Lieutenant General Adeoshun, Principal Staff Officers, General Officers Commanding, and Air Officers Commanding here present, Co-Commanders, Commanders of various operations, Commanders of formations here present, Directors from the Defense and Services Headquarters, Commandants of Nigerian Army Schools, Senior Military Officers, both serving and retired, our Royal Father Sarkinyaman Katina Hakimin Faskari, Engineer Aminu Tukur Usman, Saidu, the gallant soldiers of the Nigerian Army, gentlemen of the press, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to welcome our special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General B.S. Magashi, retired, to the Nigerian Army Day celebration, honors and awards ceremony for the year, and also the official public presentation of the book titled Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015 to 2020. These two events are part of the activities put together to mark the 157th anniversary of Nigerian Army at the Nigerian Army Day celebration this year. This occasion also coincides with the period leading to another milestone, my 5 years as the 29th Chief of Army Staff, having been appointed on the 13th of July 2015. It is therefore a very unique and indeed a memorable event. The last decade witnessed unprecedented developments in the global security environment, with the escalation of threats to national security of many countries around the world, including our dear country, Nigeria. You will recall the difficult security challenges that our nation faced in the years leading up to 2015. The Boko Haram insurgency was at its peak, with several parts of northeastern Nigeria under their control. Cases of kidnapping, banditry, communal clashes, farmers' herders conflict, and other criminalities were also endemic at the time. The nation's capital was subjected to frequent bombing attacks, while major cities like Kano, Kaduna, Jos, and Maiduguri were also not spared from these various attacks. The Nigerian Army has been at the forefront of combating these threats to our national security. However, at that time, the Nigerian Army struggled with low morale, largely due to operational setbacks, poor equipment, inadequate manpower, poor administration and welfare, as well as weak capacity, amongst others. It was against this grim backdrop that I assumed office as the Chief of Army Staff in 2015. My immediate priority centered on how to modernize the Nigerian Army through developing a right force structure and posture, addressing manpower and equipment needs, improving training, operations, logistics, and other aspects of our warfighting capabilities. Better welfare for our troops and their families through infrastructural development also needed attention. We had to immediately take steps to address these fundamental areas. Today, I am glad to note that the measures we took 5 years ago have contributed immensely to enhancing the efficiency of Nigerian Army, resulting in improved security as witnessed in the Northeast and across the country. Some of the achievements we were able to record in the aforementioned areas are what have been documented in this compendium being presented to the public today. The book Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015-2020, is not a self-assessment, but an attempt to provide a fair record for reflection on our modest but collective efforts in transforming the Nigerian Army to a more efficient fighting force. This compendium provides detailed information on some of the key projects and programs that were the focus of our transformation efforts. It is hoped that the legacy of the publication as a reference material will encourage future leadership in the Nigerian Army and indeed all cadres of personnel to sustain the tempo and build on it. These modest transformational achievements would not have been possible without the leadership, support, and guidance of President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Mr. President's unflinching support and encouragement was a strong motivation for us to preserve in our march to a better Nigerian army, despite the challenges we encountered. Let me once again, on behalf of the officers, soldiers, and civilian staff of Nigerian Army, express our gratitude and unalloyed loyalty to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as our Constitution. Our appreciation also goes to the Vice President, His Excellency Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, members of National Assembly, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, who is our special guest of honor today, the Chief of Defense Staff, my fellow service chiefs, and all those who contributed in different ways to the success story of the Nigerian Army. I wish to pay tribute to all officers and soldiers of Nigerian Army, particularly our heroes, who have paid the supreme price in line of duty to our nation. We are indebted to them forever and pledge our commitment to the welfare of their families and loved ones they left behind. The Department of Policy and Plans, led by Lieutenant General Elo Adeshun, has compiled this work tediously over time, and I want to also especially congratulate and thank the department for the foresight in bringing about this publication. The transformation of the Nigerian Army is a work in progress. We must therefore not rest on our oars, but continue to work tirelessly with sister services and other security agencies towards sustaining and indeed improving efforts so far to keep up ready at all times for all missions. Let me commend the editors for the good job done in putting together this compendium. The quality of the print and the richness of the book's content have marked this publication out as a work of great value. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's honors and award ceremony occupy a special pride of place in the life of an institution such as the Nigerian Army. It is an occasion where personnel who have distinguished themselves in their field of endeavor are singled out for recognition. These individuals being recognized today have one way or the other demonstrated in an uncommon way sacrifice, bravery, doggedness, commitment, and ingenuity, among others, in their service to the Nigerian Army and to our nation. Undoubtedly, this year's award ceremony is indeed a very unique one in view of the emerging security environment in the country. However, it is no doubt an uphill task to perform exceptionally under the prevailing conditions. To this end, I wish to assure you all that the Nigerian Army will continue to recognize the sacrifices of such individuals. I wish to congratulate the recipients of the year 2020 honors and awards. You were singled out for recognition through a very rigorous and transparent process. It is therefore my hope that you will justify this rare recognition by sustaining the hard work. For those who did not win any award today, I wish to acknowledge the efforts you have all put in towards the development and upliftment of the Nigerian Army. Since it is a known fact that not everybody can be chosen, I implore you to work harder so that next year, too, you will be celebrated. The Honorable Minister of Defense, sir, who is our special guest of honor, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On this note, it is my singular honor and privilege to invite the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired, to present the awards to the recipients and equally unveil the book, Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Brota years 2015 to 2020. To you and, of course, to the general public. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir. That was the remarks by the Chief of Army Staff. To present this award, I have the singular honor and privilege to please invite the Deputy Director of Personnel Services, Department of Administration, Army, Brigadier General C.R. Nebife, to please take charge of this proceeding. Brigadier General Nebife, sir.
the special guest of honor, sir, the Honorable Minister of Defense, the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, sir, representative of the Service Chiefs, Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, senior officers, awardees, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Brigadier General C.R. Nebife, the Deputy Director of Personnel Services at the Army Headquarters Department of Administration. I shall be the anchor for the 2020 Honors and Award Ceremony. In continuation with the events to mark the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2020, I have the singular honor and privilege to proceed with the 2020 Honors and Awards Ceremony. The Honors and Awards Ceremony is an occasion for the Chief of Army Staff to recognize hard work, excellence, and exceptional service, as well as accomplishments by deserving officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army. The Chief of Army Staff will be conferring awards on 7 deserving officers and 9 soldiers who have excelled in their career and services to the nation. The Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award recipients are officers and soldiers who have displayed exemplary character, commendable acts of courage, bravery, and gallantry in the face of the enemy. Additionally, some of the recipients have excelled in ingenuity and have made significant contributions to the development of the Nigerian Army and the nation at large. The special guest of honor, sir, distinguished invited guests, it is with this sense of humility that I present the 2020 Chief of Army Staff Commendation Awardees to be honored today. The awardees. May I respectfully invite the first recipient for the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award, Major General E.O. Udo. Major General Enobong Okon Udo is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for operational excellence, innovation, and contributions to the overall development of the Nigerian Army. As the Chief of Training and Operations Army, he ensured the successful implementation of Nigerian Army Super Camps concept and the operationalization of 22 Super Camps and 4 Special Super Camps. He evolved measures for effective first generation and timely rotation of troops across Nigerian Army theaters of operation. He effectively handled Exercise Atilogudo 1, Exercise Ayam Akbatuma 2, and Exercise Crocodile Smile 4, which resulted in tremendous successes in tackling kidnapping, vandalization of pipelines, oil bunkering, armed robbery, and other forms of criminalities in the nation. He is currently directing the activities of Exercise Sahel Sanity. On the whole, Major General Enobong Okon Udon proved himself as an excellent leader, worthy of emulation and commendation. The special guest of honor, sir, I present Major General E.O. Udo for decoration. The next awardee The next awardee is Brigadier General B.I. Alaya. Brigadier General Babatunde Ibrahim Alaya is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for his innovation, design, and fabrications to support the operations in the Northeast. As the Commander, 107 Division Equipment Support of Operation Lafia Adole, he led his team to carry out numerous repairs. He also designed and fabricated devices, equipment, and platforms which serve as force multipliers in the fight against Boko Haram terrorists. His team brought to life the concept of counter-improvised explosive device by designing and fabricating rollers, as well as the dual AK-47 firing devices currently being used. Some of the platforms in use for the current exercise Sahel Sanity were fabricated and built by Brigadier General B.I. Alaya. His actions are indeed worthy of commendation. I present Brigadier General Alaya for decoration. The next recipient of the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award is Colonel D. Dieke. Colonel Damien Dieke is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for his effective supervision, proactiveness, and initiative in repositioning the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigerian Research and Development Center. As the acting director of the Research and Development Center, Colonel Dieke spearheaded the successful completion of the establishment of the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria Intellectual Property and Technology Transfer Office, which was commissioned sometime in 2019. Colonel Dieke successfully resuscitated and completed researches leading to the production of the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria made double-base propellant. With this, DICOM will soon start producing its own high-quality propellant, which is the gunpowder, for production of ammunition. His achievements are worthy of commendation. I present Colonel Dieke for the COAS Commendation Award. The next recipient is Lieutenant Colonel E.O. Ikang. Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel Okon Ikang is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for acts of gallantry, operational effectiveness, and efficiency. As the commanding officer, 153 Task Force Battalion, he cleared route Marte Dikwa to link up with 22 Brigade, thereby opening up an alternative men's supply route that ensured the continuous resupply of troops. His several decisive operations led to the killing of several insurgents and the recovery of weapons. He also rescued over 3,000 civilians taken hostage by the terrorists. His professional competence at that level is worthy of commendation. I present Lieutenant Colonel E.O. Ikang for the decoration. The next awardee is Lieutenant Colonel I.A. Mohammed. Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Al-Hassan Mohammed is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for act of gallantry, operational effectiveness, and efficiency. As the commanding officer, 233 Tank Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed led his unit to several victories against the Islamic States of West African Province and the Boko Haram terrorists. He also led the unit to defeat terrorist attack on Damaturu, killing several Islamic State of West African Province fighters, including their commander, Abu Mukhtar. His unit also rescued so many hostages from the Boko Haram terrorists. His professional competence at that level is also worthy of commendation. I present Lieutenant Colonel I.A. Mohammed for decoration. Our next awardee is Lieutenant Colonel Y. Salisu. Lieutenant Colonel Yusuf Salisu is conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for his leadership and developmental achievements. As the commanding officer, 103 Battalion, Enugu, he addressed the perennial water scarcity that has always been a challenge in the barracks. He also constructed a 250,000 liters per day capacity water reservoir that sources its water from Akuke stream behind the barracks. Lieutenant Colonel Yusuf equally rehabilitated the existing 600 meters dilapidated access road networks in the barracks through collaboration with private construction companies. The projects were all executed at no cost to the Nigerian Army, except for the water filtration unit, which was provided by the Chief of Army Staff. His actions are indeed worthy of commendation. I present Lieutenant Colonel Y. Salisu for decoration. May I crave your indulgence to invite our last but not the least awardee in the officers category. He is Captain A.T. Ibrahim. Captain Ado Tofa Ibrahim is conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for research, development, and manufacture of prototype Nigerian Army combat vehicle under the Military Skills Acquisition Training. As the Model Transport Officer and the liaison officer between Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria and its collaborative companies, he successfully researched, developed, and produced the Ezugu vehicle, which is the Nigerian premier indigenous mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle. Captain Ibrahim also coordinated the research, development, and production of variants of medium and light technical patrol vehicles. His rare pedigree and sterling qualities are worthy of commendation. I present Captain Ibrahim for decoration. The Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award is not restricted to officers alone. We have amongst us soldiers that have also distinguished themselves in their various places of duties in the Nigerian Army. The first among the soldiers is 93 NA/351576, Warrant Officer Ogumbi Dele. Warrant Officer Ogumbi Dele is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for excellent use of initiative, skills, and proactiveness. As the personal assistant to the Chief of Defense Staff, Warrant Officer Dele has been remarkable in ensuring security and proper handling of documents. He also brought to bear institutional memories of the workings of the office for the smooth functioning of all clerical duties. He is an exemplary warrant officer and a model to his subordinates. His actions are worthy of commendation. The next awardee is 93 NA/35/2237, Warrant Officer Musa Isa. Warrant Officer Musa Isa is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for acts of gallantry and ingenuity in weapons and equipment maintenance. Warrant Officer Musa is a specialist in artillery guns equipment maintenance. On many occasions, he was drafted into very urgent circumstances to the general areas of Damasak, Bama, Konduga, Baga, and Mongunu, amongst other places, to carry out repairs, even in the face of enemy action. This task contributed to the successes recorded by the formations and units in the Northeast Theater of Operation. He is a source of motivation and encouragement to his team. I present Warrant Officer Musa Isa for decoration. Our next awardee is 93 NA/35/2109, Warrant Officer Lawan Muazu. Warrant Officer Lawan Muazu is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for professional competence. Warrant Officer Muazu displayed high sense of responsibility and diligence in the performance of duties. Lawan ensured that all itinerary pertaining to the organization and execution of the Chief of Army Staff annual and quarterly conferences were effectively and efficiently handled. He pioneered the initiative on the creation of a special database that holds all the Nigerian Army establishment orders from 2015 till date. His accurate and in-depth knowledge of Nigerian Army arms and ammunition stocks ensure that work in the cell is seamless. He is worthy of the commendation for today. I present Warrant Officer Lawan Mwazu for decoration. The next recipient of the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award is 93 NA/36/1528, Warrant Officer Daniel Makama. Warrant Officer Daniel Makama is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for his clerical and professional competence. As an instructor in the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, he coordinated and supervised all training activities in the Staff Duties Wing for the training of clerks and confidential secretaries. As the Assistant Chief Clerk at the Army Headquarters, he delivered lectures to unit adjutants and chief clerks of 6th Division and other divisions during a division's training. His clerical and professional competence made him to be nominated to represent the Nigerian Army as an instructor in the newly established Nigerian Customs Services Command and Staff College. His admirable competence is worthy of commendation. I present Warrant Officer Daniel Makama for the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award. The next is 96 NA/42/7129, Staff Sergeant Rabi Aliu. Staff Sergeant Rabi Aliu is conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for his acts of gallantry and operational competence. Staff Sergeant Rabi Aliu participated actively in all the offensive operations conducted by his unit as a gunner in the Northeast. Staff Sergeant Aliu has had his gun truck attacked by improvised explosive device on 3 different occasions, yet he remained undeterred and ever determined in the discharge of his duties. During one of the numerous ambushes and improvised explosive device attacks, he provided the needed cover despite enemy firepower to extricate his commanding officer, and the ambush was successfully neutralized. I present to you Staff Sergeant Rabi Aliu for his act of gallantry, and he is worthy of this commendation. Our next recipient is 2000 NA/49/2117, Staff Sergeant Suleiman Yunusa. Staff Sergeant Suleiman Yunusa is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for outstanding act of gallantry. As a platoon sergeant, Staff Sergeant Yunusa participated actively in all the unit's offensive operation and has remained fearless and willing to partake in every operations of the unit. On a particular mission, Staff Sergeant Suleiman led a patrol team to an isolated Boko Haram terrorist stronghold in Kwadala village. His team routed the terrorists in their hideouts, and he exploited the situation further and recovered so many arms and ammunition. His acts of bravery are worthy of commendation. I present Staff Sergeant Suleiman Yunusa for the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award. Next is 2005 NA/56/1126, Sergeant Agada Okafor. Sergeant Agada Okafor is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for his technical and operational competence. Sergeant Agada Okafor is a specialist in the repairs and maintenance of armored and heavy-duty vehicles. The soldier repaired 4 BMP, a Russian track vehicle that were earlier classified as beyond economic repairs by some European expatriates that were contracted. He is the rallying point for all armored vehicle maintenance in the Northeast. He specifically specializes in the repairs of BMPs and the Camel mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles. His technical competence is worthy of commendation. I present Sergeant Agada Okafor for the award. The next awardee is 12 NA/67/2709, Lance Corporal Wunti Koni. Lance Corporal Wunti Kony is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for her innovation and selfless service. Lance Corporal Wunti is the first soldier to produce jersey pullover for the Nigerian Army. Samples of the jersey pullovers produced by the soldier were forwarded to the headquarters Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps for inputs, and they were approved. She has developed keen interest in working with the machines, that within a short period, she mastered operating the machine, as well as the replacement of some parts. She has also trained other tailors in the sewing of jersey pullovers. Her actions are indeed worthy of commendation. I present Lance Corporal Wunti Kony for the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award. The last recipient for today is 16 NA/75/5564, Private Isa Umar. Private Isa Umar is being conferred with the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award for acts of gallantry. Private Isa Umar single-handedly rescued 27 pupils of Vital Years Academy Zaria, whose school bus caught fire with the pupils inside. The vehicle exploded. Immediately, the last child was rescued from the bus. The explosion resulted to the soldier sustaining multiple burns. He is fast recovering from the injuries. I present to you Private Isa Umar for this gallantry action, and is indeed worthy of commendation. The special guest of honor, sir, the Chief of Army Staff, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I at this junction most respectfully request the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, to please invite the special guest of honor to decorate the awardees. The Chief of Army Staff, sir. The Chief of Administration Army will join him, sir.
While the investiture is ongoing, I request the band to please give us some light music as we also fill you in on some of the achievements of the Chief of Army Staff. operationalized the Forward Operations Base Mambila in Gambu. The Chief of Army Staff also established the 123 Special Forces Battalion Barracks in Doma in Nasarawa State. Subsequently, he commissioned the 3 Division Training School at Maxwell Kobe Cantonment in April 2019. There was also the groundbreaking ceremony of the Buratai Center for Contemporary Security Affairs at the Benedict University of Okada in Edo State in April 2019. Band, thank you. Band, thank you very much. Band, thank you. Thank you very much, Band. We were saying earlier that the 29th Chief of Army Staff has indeed kept a date with history with the various transformational projects he has brought to bear in the Nigerian Army in the course of his tour of duty as the Chief of Army Staff.
will be transiting to the unveiling and, of course, a presentation of the Compendium of the Nigerian Army Transformation. The Buratai this will be done by the special guest of honor.
Thank you very much, sir. The special guest of honor, sir, the Chief of Army Staff, senior officers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, with the decoration over, we have come to the end of the 2020 Honors and Awards Ceremony. May I invite Major Enjuma to continue with the proceedings.
Thank you, sir. Next is the introduction and presentation of Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015 to 2020. The occasion of the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2020 has again provided an opportunity for stock taking. This enviable national institution has been commanded. Institution called the Nigerian Army has been commanded at various times by several Chief of Army Staff, evolving to the tenure of the incumbent Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukul Yusuf Buratai, who has no doubt kept a date with history through his unprecedented transformation of the Nigerian Army into a force better able to meet contemporary challenges. This afternoon, his tremendous achievements have been chronicled and will be presented to us in form of a compendium. To do this, I have the singular honor and privilege to most respectfully request the Chairman, Compendium Production Committee, the Deputy Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, Major General S.E. Udonwa, to please take charge of this proceeding. The Chairman, sir.
The special guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Fabi Magashi, retired Commander of the Federal Republic. The Chief of Defense Staff, ably represented. Our Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Buratai. Representatives of the Chief of the Naval Staff and Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, Principal Staff Officers at Defense and Services Headquarters, Corps Commanders, General Officers Commanding, Senior Officers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Major General S.E. Udonwa, the Deputy Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, Director Staff Duties, and the Chairman of the Committee to produce the Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation 2015 to 2020. It is with great delight that I, on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, welcome the special guest of honor and other distinguished guests to the public presentation of the book, Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015-2020. Over the last 3 months, I was privileged to lead a team of 10 very dedicated Nigerian Army officers who are the editors of the compendium that is being presented to the public this afternoon. May I respectfully crave the indulgence of the special guest of honor to request members of the committee who are present with us to please step out for recognition. On behalf of the editors, I thank the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Bratai, for the privilege given to us to undertake this very important assignment. It is widely acknowledged that the Nigerian Army in the last 5 years, under the leadership of our indefatigable Chief of Army Staff, has witnessed unprecedented transformation more than at any time in its history. This is evident in the numerous recognitions and awards bestowed on the Army and the Chief of Army Staff, both domestically and globally. It is these achievements that inspired this compendium with the aim of documenting for posterity and to serve as reference to the next generation of leaders in the Nigerian Army. The compendium is thematically arranged into 10 parts with 24 chapters for easy read and better comprehension. Where necessary, pictures were included to drive home the points as well as make its reading enjoyable. Part 1 presents an overview of the Nigerian Army, highlighting its rich history, organization, and operational as well as administrative structures to aid readers to understand subsequent parts of the book. Parts 2 to 9 focused on particular areas of transformation, including reorganization, changes to order of battle, achievements in educational development, innovations in training, exercises and operations, and efforts to improve provision of material and sustainment of the Army. Other aspects covered include leadership development and capacity building, administration, infrastructural development, and doctrinal as well as policy reviews. The last part of the book, part 10, is on the personality of the Chief of Army Staff, entitled The Man Tuku Buratai. A short brief on the Chief of Army Staff and some of his speeches and those made by eminent persons during Nigerian Army events were captured in this part. This compendium is an attempt to tell the story of the many transformational initiatives that were embarked upon by the Nigerian Army under the leadership of the Chief of Army Staff in the last 5 years. The work is just a microcosm of the numerous achievements of the Chief of Army Staff, as we were unable to capture every aspect of the transformation in the Nigerian Army due to time and space limitations. It is hoped that subsequent editions will be more comprehensive than this first attempt. While the Army is still evolving towards attaining its ideal state, a major foundation has been laid for its future leaders to build upon. Without doubt, the Nigerian Army, through the transformational processes of the last half-decade, is today better positioned to perform its constitutional roles as a leading service of the armed forces of Nigeria. We hope that the reader will have a better understanding of the Nigerian Army and the efforts made by its leadership in the last 5 years to keep it at optimal performance levels for present and future missions. Special guests of honor, sir, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me once again, on behalf of all the editors, express our gratitude to the Chief of Army Staff for his approval to undertake this compilation. His guidance and support were vital to the successful completion of the work within a relatively short time. We are also grateful to the Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, who was always available to offer advice that further enriched the book. Our appreciation also goes to other Army Headquarters Principal Staff Officers, commanders at all levels, and heads of establishments and institutions who made written and oral submissions that simplified the editorial work. We thank aides, staff, assistants, and our printers, Yalian Press, who toiled under difficult circumstances to ensure deadlines were met and the project was a reality. Finally, to every personnel of the Nigerian Army, whose heroic exploits have saved our nation uncountable times, and without whom there will be no Nigerian Army, we say thank you for your sacrifice. As I end these introductory remarks, may I respectfully inform this gathering that the foreword to the compendium was written by no other personality than the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. Mr. President's message to readers of the compendium is very insightful and inspiring and worthy to be read to this audience. May I therefore humbly invite the Chief of Policy and Plans Army, Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, to please come forward and read the Commander-in-Chief's foreword to the compendium, and thereafter invite the special guest of honor to unveil the book. The Chief of Policy and Plans Army, sir.
The special guest of honor, sir, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Sali Magashi, retired, Commander of the Federal Republic. The Chief of Defense Staff, ably represented by Air Vice Marshal C.I. Ogowen, Chief of the Naval Staff, ably represented by Rear Admiral Titi Dakwat, and the Chief of the Air Staff, represented ably by Air Vice Marshal I.O. Amao. Our great host, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Buratai, Principal Staff Officers from the Army and other services headquarters, General Officers Commanding and Air Officers Commanding Air Present, Corps Commanders Air Present, Commanders of various operations Air Present, Commanders of various Army formations Air Present, Directors from Defense and Services Headquarters, Commandants of Nigerian Army Schools, Senior Military Officers, both serving and retired, our Royal Father, Serikin Yama Kassina, Akimin Paskari, Engineer Aminu Tukur Usman Saidu, the gallant soldiers of the Nigerian Army, gentlemen of the press, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I remain Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, the Chief of Policy and Plans, Army. I stand before you this afternoon to read the foreword to the Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Buratai years 2015 to 2020, by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me remark that all the possessive pronouns in this speech refers to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and not the reader. I begin. When I first assumed office as President on 29 May 2015, our dear nation, like many others, was plagued by multifaceted security challenges that threatened the very foundation of our existence as a country. No place was considered safe, even as the sanctity of the nation's capital was breached severally by sporadic bombing incidents by terrorists and other forms of criminalities. I had no doubt about the task that lay ahead for our administration. Therefore, one of the cardinal agenda of our administration was and still remains the guarantee of safety and security of lives and property of Nigerians, other nationalities resident in our country, and our citizens around the world. This is a constitutional imperative, and we are determined to uphold this ideal in line with the tenets of our oath of office. To achieve this objective, the armed forces, being a key element of our national power, must remain prepared, ready, and able to combat contemporary security challenges, protect the territorial integrity of our dear nation, and jealously guard our shared values and national interests under the political direction of our government. I am proud to say that a year into my administration's second term, the armed forces have not only distinguished themselves in the performance of its constitutional roles, but have also enjoyed the support of our people, as well as carved a niche for themselves as one of the best in the world. May I note that the Nigerian Army, a key service of our armed forces, has particularly demonstrated a remarkable sense of patriotism, professionalism, and competence that have endeared it to Nigerians and our friends around the world. The Army is indeed the pride of the nation. Having risen from the embers of colonial history and the shadows of prolonged military rule to build enduring support to our democracy, defend our country, and provide security for our people. There is no doubt that as of today, our country is better secured than at the beginning of our administration. The insurgency in the northeastern part of the country, which was almost an existential threat a few years ago, is all but ended. Similarly, the restiveness in the Niger Delta area has been effectively brought under control, while cases of farmers' herdsmen clashes are in decline. These milestones in the area of security have been largely due to the transformational initiatives of the Nigerian Army under the current able leadership. We still have challenges of banditry, kidnappings, intermittent acts of violence, livestock rustling, but our armed forces are ever ready to crush any outrages. I have noted with admiration the giant strides and achievements recorded by the Army in terms of operational successes, manpower development, training, and capacity building, indigenous production of equipment, and infrastructural development, among others. I am particularly pleased to observe that the Nigerian Army has prioritized investments in building human resource institutions and capacity, being its core strategic asset to win wars. The establishment of the highly subscribed Army War College Nigeria, the Nigerian Army Resource Center, the Nigerian Army University, and the Nigerian Army Women Corps are few examples of new institutions that would not have come at a better time in our history. The Army, with this accomplishment, indeed deserves our support and commendation. This book, I quote, Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the Brother Years, 2015 to 2020, unquote, provides detailed insight to the many transformational initiatives embarked upon by the Army in the last 5 years. I note that the book chronicles a number of doctrinal and operational reviews that put a premium on protecting civilians in conflict areas. In realization of the overarching lessons that wars cannot be won by military efforts alone, the Nigerian Army has also engaged in building enduring partnerships with civil society, non-governmental organizations, and our international partners. I am impressed to observe that this book is a paradigm shift from the normal Army chronicle of command and events, but a compelling and scholarly documentation of the philosophical reasoning underpinning the initiatives. The book captures the defining moments in the transformational journey of the Nigerian Army, provides something of value to all categories of readers, and should serve as a model for other agencies of government. It is not only a careful compendium of Nigerian Army transformation efforts, but also an essential read for students of defense management and security studies, as well as the global audience who seek to understand how we still win our wars in spite of obvious operational and strategic challenges. As we continue our journey into the 21st century, let us remind ourselves that contemporary threats are complex, fluid, multidimensional, and global in nature. Here at home, the socio-economic and cultural realities have often been at the root of our conflicts, coupled with cross-border and transnational crimes. These dynamic complexities of our particular environment and the need to carefully guard our core interests underscore the need for our national security institutions to remain vigilant and ready to rise to the occasion whenever and wherever called upon to do so. I have no doubt in my mind that the Nigerian Army will continue to fulfill its role whenever the occasion rises. Lastly, I salute the courage and gallantry of members of our armed forces, particularly those who have paid the supreme sacrifice in defense of our nation. As a nation, we are indeed grateful for your sacrifices. I commend the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Bratai, who has led the Army with excellence in very challenging times. I highly commend this compendium to the reading public. Signed, Muhammadu Buhari, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May I, at this juncture, humbly invite the Chief of Army Staff to invite the special guest of honor for the unveiling of the books.
Thank you, sir. May I also humbly request the Chief of Policy and Plans to please invite representatives of various service chiefs, Chairman Central Organizing Committee, and the Sarkinyama Katina to please accompany the special guest of honor for this historic function. Thank you.
Before now, we had earlier mentioned some of the achievements of the Chief of Army Staff, which are chronicled in this compendium. Special guest of honor, the special guest of honor has unveiled and presented the compendium. Shortly, we will get to the climax of this auspicious event, which is the remarks of the special guest of honor. May I, at this juncture, most respectfully request the Chief Host, the Chief of Army Staff, to respectfully request the special guest of honor to please deliver his address at this auspicious occasion. The special guest of honor's address, please.
The Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief Host, Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, ably represented by Staff Officer, the Chief of Air Staff, equally represented, the Chief of Policy and Plans, Principal Staff Officers from the Army Headquarters and Service Headquarters, General Officers commanding Nigerian Army divisions here present, Air Officers commanding Special Operations and Training Command, Co-Commanders here present, Commanders of various operations here present, Commander of various army formations here present, Directors from Defense and Service Headquarters here present, Commandants of Nigerian Army Schools, Senior military officers, both serving and retired, our Royal Father, Sarkin Yamman Katsina, Hakimin Faskari, the gallant soldiers of Nigerian Army, gentlemen of press who have been standing in the sun for almost 2 hours, congratulations for giving you that honor. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am highly delighted to be in your midst today on this unique occasion as part of the extended Nigerian Army Day celebration 2020, an annual event that affords the Nigerian Army an opportunity to showcase its rich histories, values, and achievements. The event is also used to demonstrate the Nigerian Army's commitment to being a professional, responsive force in the discharge of its constitutional duties. I understand this theme, Nigerian territory defense and sovereignty, imperatives for Nigerian Army's sustained operations and training. It is also born out of the burning desire of the Nigerian Army to fulfill its primary responsibility of securing the territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in all circumstances. I have no doubt in my mind it captures the yearnings of Nigerians for absolute peace and security. Here, it is gladdening to note that this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration is being organized in the form of a real-time field training exercise aimed at ridding the northwestern part of Nigeria of banditry activities. This year's celebration, taking place in Paskari, Katsina State, will no doubt provide the Nigerian Army and indeed the armed forces of Nigeria a platform to invigorate the fighting against insurgency, banditry activities, and sundry criminal activities in the various parts of this country. Equally, it is gratifying to note that this year's celebration once again provides the Nigerian Army with another opportunity to celebrate and honor the deserving personnel who excel in the fighting against insurgencies and other criminal elements. Let me use this opportunity to reiterate the Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief's absolute determination to achieve success in our fight against insurgents and other forms of criminality in the country. On this note, I wish to congratulate the Nigerian Army on its 157th anniversary. The Nigerian Army has come a long way, and no doubt it has weathered through the storms to become what it is today. You have continued to put in your best on behalf of our dear country. Indeed, several of your colleagues have paid the supreme price in order to keep this country safe and secure. We acknowledge and appreciate these sacrifices and pray for the repose of the souls of the deceased. Our hearts are with their families and their loved ones. Let me quickly add here that it is my responsibility as the Minister of Defense to ensure that they did not die in vain. We therefore owe it a duty to continue to make available to you all the necessary moral and material support that you may require to function optimally. I wish to assure you on behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, that all our obligations shall be faithfully discharged to you. We will continue to demonstrate the political will and determination towards ensuring that insurgency and criminality are totally eradicated in our dear country. On this unique day of the Nigerian Army Day celebration, let me use this opportunity to join millions of Nigerians to thank members of the armed forces and other law enforcement agencies, all working diligently to protect us at a great cost to personal comfort and survival. I wish to especially commend and congratulate the Chief of Army Staff for his dedication, patriotism, loyalty, and doggedness in leading the Nigerian Army in the fight against terrorism and security challenges. To the recipients, let me make it clear that you are our heroes. All we are very proud of you. I congratulate you all on the honor bestowed upon you today in recognition of your selfless and exceptional contribution to the success recorded in the Nigerian Army in the last 12 months. Our nation remains indebted to you for your services, so therefore, congratulations. To our gallant serving men and women of the Army, I implore you to all continue to discharge your duties according to the existing rules of engagement and in line with the constitutional provisions. Today, I had the honor to unveil the book Compendium of Nigerian Army Transformation, the brutal years 2015 to 2020, which highlights some of the achievements recorded by the Nigerian Army in the last 5 years. I have noticed the giant transformational stride made by the Nigerian Army in areas including organization, training, operations, administration, logistics, and infrastructural development, as carefully detailed in the book. I am impressed by the many new establishments that have been created to enhance the force structure and posture of the Army, as well as afford to build the capacity of personnel in all cadres. I again congratulate the Chief of Army Staff, officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army for these milestones. I urge you not to rest on your oars, but continue to work assiduously towards containing the lingering threats to our national security until peace and security is restored to all troubled spots in this country. At this point, it is my honor and privilege to present the book Compendium of Nigerian Army, the brutal years 2015 to 2020, to you and to the larger public. I hereby direct all Ministry of Defense institutions and establishments to purchase the book for the benefit of their personnel. Once again, I congratulate you all on witnessing yet another Nigerian Army Day celebration. God bless you all, and thank you.
Can we please give the special guest of honor another round of applause? The special guest of honor, sir, with your remarks, we are gradually coming to the end of this auspicious occasion. But just before we do, an event of this magnitude would not end without the presentation of souvenirs to our esteemed guests. May I, at this juncture, respectfully request the Chairman, Central Organizing Committee, and the Chief of Civil Military Affairs to please step forward to coordinate this aspect of the program as we invite the beneficiaries of this memento. First, to receive a memento from the Chief of Army Staff is the President. I have been directed to respectfully inform us that the Chief of Policy and Plans has an announcement to make. May I, at this juncture, request the Chief of Policy and Plans Army to please make his announcement. The Chief of Policy and Plans Army, sir.
Our special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Defense, sir, our Chief Host, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, from the fallout of the speech of the special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Defense, who is also our very special guest of honor, our chief host, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. The first announcement is the largesse from the Honorable Minister of Defense of a whooping sum of 500,000 naira to that combatant soldier who rescued all those children from the school bus that got burnt and he suffered so much burn from the explosion. Thank you very much. The second announcement is on the proceeds that will be made from the sales of the Compendium of Army Transformation, the Buratai years, as announced by the special guest of honor. The fund that will be raised from the sales is going to be used to set up an endowment fund for Tukur Buratai Foundation for military strategy and tactics. I don't feel I should announce this to the hearing of the public. Thank you very much, sir. The cost of the book, the hardcover copy, goes for 10,000 naira. I believe by then they produce the paperback, the cost may be reduced. But as it is, the hardcover copy goes for 10,000 naira. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. May I, at this juncture, most respectfully request the chief host, the Chief of Army Staff, to please rise and make these presentations. I have the honor to respectfully invite the special guest of honor to receive the first memento for this event. The first memento for this event goes to the President and Commander-in-Chief, the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. The Honorable Minister is to receive that on behalf of the President. Thank you very much, sir. The Honorable Minister would also receive one in his personal capacity. Thank you very much, sir. Next is the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff. To the Chief of Defense Staff, the special guest of honor would receive one in his personal capacity. A round of applause for him, please. Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Next to receive a souvenir is the Chief of Defense Staff, who is here ably represented by Air Vice Marshal C.I. Ogbuwen. The representative of the Chief of Defense Staff would also receive another in his personal capacity. Next is the Chief of Naval Staff, here ably represented by Rear Admiral T.T. Dakwat. Next also to receive is the Chief of Air Staff, who is here ably represented. Lastly, the Sarkin Yamman Katsina, the Hakimin Faskari, Engineer Tukur Usman Saidu, would also receive from the Chief of Army Staff. Thank you very much, sir. May I, at this juncture, most respectfully request the special guest of honor to please mount the saluting dais, where he would receive the hearty cheers for this auspicious event. The special guest of honor, sir.
At the end of the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2020 Honors and Awards Ceremony, may I have your permission to carry on? Sir.
of the year 2020 Nigerian Army Day celebration, I have been directed to respectfully inform us that lunch is served in the mess. All of our distinguished invited guests are please respectfully requested to move to the mess for lunch. We have come to the end of today's epoch-making event. May I, on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, officers and men of the Nigerian Army, especially thank you all for being with us throughout this celebration. We look forward to seeing you again next year, God willing. Until then, goodbye and God bless us all.
This is Channels Television, and you've been watching the Nigerian Army Medal Parade and launch of Compendium of the Army Transformation from the Nigerian Army Special Super Camp in Faskari, Katsina. We'll now return to our regular programs. Stay with us.